this is like we're going back into automation now. So this is a flow that I've had built for like quite some time. Um, but I've just made some like interesting improvements. So I don't know if you saw, but in my other video, I've like completely changed the structure of how our automation works. And so this is like because I have each account is now treated as like an individual campaign, but you can actually have multiple accounts running off of one campaign, if that makes sense. For example, I've got accounts here that I have added in there twice. One of them's doing outreach for Notifier, and that same account then has another automation running off it that it is running for reaching out for people who are interested in buying ventilators for the COVID crisis. Um, and like so they and obviously they're sending out like different messages. I don't want to send a message about like website plugins to someone interested to someone who's like works in a hospital for procurement, for example. So I've now actually like been able to separate these out. And what this flow does is whenever a new connection request is accepted, LinkedIn sends you an email. So we get something coming through that goes into our like team inbox. So I've set up forwarding. So here you see it's a start a conversation with Aaron Liu, who's the procurement director at somewhere. So this means that I can what is happening, just to explain the full flow. This is my account, Penelope King, and I'm then checking in Gmail here whenever we receive a new email that matches the job title, like talk to your new connection, or something like that. It pulls in that data. So it's sorry, it says start a conversation with your new connection. It pulls in that data, and then we run it through like what's called a text parser to extract the all of the LinkedIn profiles that are mentioned within that output. In this case, this is actually a link. If you see here, if we hover over it, this is a link. So it pulls that data out and it cleans up the link as it's got some tracking on there and things like that we don't really need. So it extracts the information that we want. And then it runs a search within Airtable to try and find the email that it was forwarded from. So I hope that makes sense. This is a little bit confusing, but this is the email of our account owner, and it will then go and search within Airtable to find our LinkedIn account that is associated to, and then it finds the the Airtable base where we're doing the actual outreach from, because they're two different bases. We have one Airtable base for managing LinkedIn accounts, our own LinkedIn accounts, and then we have a second Airtable base for actually pulling for performing the outreach. So then it's running through and it's finding all records that are linked to that have this name. So this person is a match. So it's found those people, and then it's going through. If it doesn't find a match, it sends me a message in Slack and it says, sorry, we can't find that person, and it means that I've done something wrong, most likely. But if it does find that person, then it comes through here, and we then go, it pulls the correct message for that individual sequence. So this is what I mean. You can have multiple different sequences running off of one account, and still this automation will know which message you would like to send. So in this case, it's pulling our follow-up LinkedIn message, which is here. Hi, first name, stay safe. Here's a link to our brochure. Converts that into JSON, and then it's going to go and send a follow-up to that person. So I can just show you here. Currently, we've just sent out like 12 follow-ups to people who have accepted our connection request. And this is happening in real time, which is like the most interesting part about it. The second someone accepts our connection request, we get an email through. and immediately they're going to get a message. So we know that they're online on LinkedIn, so we have a very high chance of getting a response. So as you can see, the message, it said, "Hi Simon, thank you for connecting. As mentioned, we have CE and FDA approved ventilator." That should be ventilators. I've just seen a spelling mistake. Okay, and also, yeah, so now that I've just seen that, just to give you an example of how easy it is to for me to change this stuff. Let me just filter this down. So currently there are 51 LinkedIn accounts here. And if I come over to it's hidden currently. If I come over to LinkedIn 2, LinkedIn 2 is the second message that we send out. So just to show you how easy it is for me to change all of the LinkedIn messages being sent out across like 50 accounts. Ventilators, and then we're just going to copy and just paste into all of it. Sorry, it's a little bit slow because I'm recording, which uses up a lot of CPU. But like also, let's say on this message, we wanted to send something slightly different. Now this message is only changing on this account, so each account can have its own like unique messaging. I'm a little bit lazy to write out unique messages for each one, but it's got the capability to do that, to change one thing per message, or like you've just seen, we've seen a mistake and we've updated the messaging for all 50 accounts. So it's pulling LinkedIn 2 from this database, it's pulling this message in, and then it's just going ahead and sending it. And after that, we go through and we update the original record, and we say, okay, we've now sent message number 2, and that user is actually a first connection. So we know not to send that message to that user again. So I think this is like a really interesting flow, and it automates like a lot of the like follow-up workflow. There are like a number of different ways to accomplish this. I just find this to be the best because it works in real time. So you don't have to like you're going to get the best response rates if you're messaging someone when they're online. So like this is a flow. I've had it for like 6 months now. So I've had it for a while, but now I've changed it to work dynamically. So multiple accounts can be running multiple campaigns at the same time, and this flow is still able to identify what is the correct follow-up message to send. So I hope that made sense. I hope you found it interesting. And I've been getting a lot of like, previously I was looking at just if someone asked me to build like automations for them, like I would just do it as a freelancer, but my rate is like relatively high, because I have my own, like, this isn't what I do as like a living. I'm not like a freelancer putting automations together. Like I have my own companies and stuff, so I have quite a high like hourly rate if I was going to do a freelance project. But now that I've actually built out all these automations, I could potentially just offer it to be, if they wanted access to it and they can pay like a monthly fee to use all of the tools, all of my automations and things like that. I would be like absolutely fine with doing that if people are interested. Another thing that I thought of was actually making like a an agency style Zapier. So Zapier is like everyone sort of knows it and everyone uses it. It's really like simple and easy to use, and it allows you to build like automations, but it's not very flexible. Whereas, and also it's quite expensive. So I was thinking to make like an agency where we would actually build the automations for you. So you would say like literally you would just talk to us and say like I want to build, I want this to happen, then X, then Y. If that happens, then do that, and so on. And it could be about half the cost of Zapier, just to make it like because I know there's like millions of people using this. So in fact, it could be even less than that. For like $9 per month, we could run like 1,000 tasks for you, and build out far more complex sequences. Like in order to get the most out of Zapier, you need you need to be up like this end of the tool. And like, so for example, I could run like 800,000 tasks for someone for like $1,000. So it would be 4 times cheaper actually than Zapier. So it would be like an automation style agency, and it would basically just be guaranteed to be like half the cost of Zapier, plus we would build all of the automation, and manage everything for you. So like if you have like automation experts doing it, you should get a better a better result than doing it yourself. But there was just a few ideas I had recently, so I'd be interested to hear people's thoughts. Um, yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions about the automation itself, like of course I'm more than happy to answer. Yeah, please leave a comment and I'll get back to you. As always, thank you very much for watching.